Hi, welcome to Conversations with Kim. This month I had the opportunity to sit down with my great friend Steve Elder. I am a big believer that people do business with who they know, like, and trust. Steve is someone that I know, like, and trust. I hope you will get to know him a little bit on this video as a person, but also as a professional. He is Senior Vice President of his company that does wealth management and financial planning. So I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you next month.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good.
You're always great, though.
Yeah, I say I am. No.
So, as you know, the last time I interviewed Chris Nielsen, State Farm agent, lives in the Grove, and I told him that I was going to interview you next, and he thought that you would be more comfortable interviewed in a nursing home.
Is
Do you
that
have
right?
anything to say about that?
You know, he's a very jealous and bitter man.
I can tell.
Yeah, he is.
He's
He's just striving, as he's gotten to know me, to be the athlete that I am and look this good. So
yeah.
can't help him.
We'll try to get him some counseling.
Yeah, it's a personal, internal struggle he's got going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. Well, thank you
Oh,
for
thank
allowing
you.
me in your
Yeah,
beautiful
my pleasure.
home.
Thank you.
Absolutely. On this rainy day. So, tell me a little bit about your family. I know your wife, Vicki. Lovely Vicki.
She is lovely. Yeah, I've been married to Vicki for 31 years.
31.
31 years, yeah. And we have daughter Ashley, married to Wes Garrison.
Yeah.
And they've got our first grandbaby, Lucy, who is 9 months old. I've got
She's
10 months
beautiful.
old.
10 months already.
Yeah, she's 10 months.
Yeah.
Had to do the math. And our son, Ben, and he is getting married in November to lovely soul, Kristen Womack. We're excited about that. So
Yeah.
got a lot of changes, a lot of good things going on.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, you were also one of the first families in the Grove, right?
Yeah,
You have a beautiful home, beautiful lot
thank you.
on the course. So, what made you move here?
You know, it's one of those times and things that Vicki and I, we joined Laurel Cove back in, gosh, I don't remember the year, but 04, 05, when the first iteration, I guess, of the Grove, and then the crisis happened, and Mark and his group ended up buying this and becoming the Grove. And over the 3-year gap, 3.5-year gap, where it was closed every time that we would be this way, we would stop by here, and I'd have a tear rolling down my face as I looked down number one on the old road and saw thistles and everything growing out of one green. This was just a
Really?
place, yeah,
Wow.
because we raised our family in Murfreesboro, and this was a place sort of in between here and Franklin where I worked that it made a lot of sense to be here, and we felt like it was a great next chapter when we became empty nesters. And
Yeah.
so that was the vision that we had. And so when we found out that the Grove had purchased it and was coming back online, we were over here the first day that they started selling lots, and we've gotten to see it literally from the ground up.
From the ground up.
Yeah.
Gosh, no kidding. And it's changed a lot.
It has changed a lot, but it's been also at the same time, it has been better, honestly, than what perhaps we had in our mind's eye for it.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
What do you love most about living here?
Gosh, two things. I have to kind of start at home. Vicki and I seem to 4 or 5 times a week, our conversation at dinner or something will come around to the fact that we truly love our house. This was a passion project. It was something that we sort of had in our mind for a long time. And so we knew very much what we wanted to build, and got with an architect, and he was able to truly see the vision that we had for it. And so there's very little we would change about it. We love that. And secondly, and perhaps more importantly, is we truly do love the people. I mean, we've just made a lot of good friends, and community is
Mostly me.
mostly you and not your husband Jim. That's right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, the people have just been, I think, the amenities are great. our house turned out wonderfully, but the relationships that we've made, I don't think that anybody could have, hope for that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, and like you said, the people are what make it.
Yeah.
For sure. So you mentioned your business is in Franklin.
Yeah.
So tell me about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a wealth manager and planner. I've been in that business for almost 30 years.
30 years.
With Janney Montgomery Scott, new firm, or not new firm, very, very old firm. We opened an office here in Franklin, was their first presence in Tennessee. And we're very excited to get on board with them and kind of a boutique offering that they are as a firm. We do a lot of things within that. It's hard to encapsulate everything that we do, but I had a day yesterday that was amazing to me because quite literally I wore about 8 different hats, and
Really?
I kind of sat planning what I'm going to go in and do today, and thought about just the variation of things that I hear and I get to work on. It's pretty fascinating.
Yes. So you've been doing that 30 years then.
I have.
What's your favorite thing about what you do?
It's really interesting. I actually get asked that a lot, and for me, my mother worked for an old-fashioned stockbroker back in the 60s and 70s, and I remember him because he was the Jimmy Stewart of the town that I grew up in Jackson, Tennessee, and very well respected. And I later did a college internship around him, as a matter of fact. And he was just a wonderful man. And I remember watching him and thinking, wow, I want to be that, because people were coming to him for advice. He was just very, very well respected. And then I fell in love with markets. And I thought that the business was really about markets, and that was exciting to me.
Yeah.
While I was in school in the 80s. And I got into the business and I found out that, markets are a means to an end. And what has really fed my soul in my business and kept me more than happy in it and hungry is relationships. I genuinely love the people that I work with that are clients, and when I take somebody on, that becomes a commitment that we make. And
Right.
it is very difficult to imagine how, we're dealing with a very intimate subject. I mean, it's
Sure. Yeah.
money and family things and selling of businesses, and there's a lot wrapped up in it. And
Right.
you just get to, you get to walk hand in hand with people through some really important stuff, and relationships are born out of that. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and you get to walk with them through life. So your office is in Franklin?
Correct.
Where is your?
We're on McEwen
Okay,
in Franklin Park, one of the 2 Franklin Park buildings there.
gotcha. Well, here's a question for you. Since you're so old, now if you could go back to the 22-year-old Steve Elder and tell him one thing, what would that be?
I've got about 20 things to say to him.
Narrow it down for us.
Yeah. So a couple things, not in any order. I would hope I got married at 20. I married Vicki when I was 21. I would tell the 22-year-old version, you better understand what a treasure you have in her. It takes time
Wow,
to really
what a romantic.
understand. It's true, though. It takes time to understand that.
That's
And,
really sweet.
Yeah. I am very sweet. So
She is a treasure.
she is. And I mean that. That's not a cliche. She is.
Well, you can tell that you really feel that way about her.
Yeah. The other thing I think it would be, I wish I had learned, I would give counsel to learn things faster, but I've learned that you're ready for what comes your way when it comes your way. I feel like I was slower growing, perhaps in my 20s, than I would have liked to have been. But as I look back, I told somebody yesterday, as I look back, it was also necessary time.
Wow, you're like Yoda.
I probably look like Yoda. I don't know if I'm like Yoda.
No.
The other thing,
Very wise.
well,
That's interesting.
the other thing is I would tell myself to be really teachable.
Oh, yeah.
I tend to be like, I think most people at that age, I tend to be very hard-headed, had a lot of opinions, and either they were right or you were wrong.
Yes.
And I would strip that away from my characters much sooner.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good advice to the old you.
The young me.
The young
The
you.
young me was
The-
old,
the
but
old you.
now I'm really, yeah,
Yeah.
it's confusing.
So in your profession, you see a lot of different platforms of financial success or whatever you want to call it. So how do you define success?
I've talked about it a little bit already. I have pretty central and core values, and I think they really kind of go to everything that we talk about in life. I had a meeting with a couple yesterday, and we had this conversation. Which, by the way, one of the cool things about what I do is that I'm 53 years old, but I'm 86 in financial years because I've been around 30 years, right? And so I've gotten to watch,
Yeah.
fortunately and unfortunately, people from retirement to the grave. I have seen that curve. And so I have learned from them. It's not because I'm so wise. It's because I have gleaned wisdom from those people that I'm walking through these things with.
That's really neat.
It really is. And so I know stuff.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, I think that's really neat. You do walk with them through many stages. So
Yep.
interesting.